Yeah.
Where there's some apocalypse in the future.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Zia and this is
Kamana.
and welcome to
Holistic Nomads TV,
where ancient wisdom and modern science can help you to have more clarity and energy in your life. So today's topic, we are going to talk about the 7 Ayurvedic tips to eating.
Healthy eating.
Healthy eating. On a previous episode, I'm not sure how previous, but a while ago, we have talked about the 7 Ayurvedic tips on drinking water. And then several people have asked, do you have the similar tips to eat? And yes, we do. And that's what we're going to talk today in the next half an hour.
Right.
So what are the importance of eating using these lifestyle tips compared to just, when people think about healthy eating, it's just, healthy food, good nutrition, but actually it's more than that from Ayurvedic perspective.
Ayurveda says one of the main causes of disease, if not the main cause of disease, is related to Agni, our digestive fire, our metabolism's ability to digest and break down the foods efficiently and turn them into good healthy tissues in the body. Or if that process doesn't work so well, then it creates ama, half digested byproducts, malformed tissues inside the body and leads to disease.
Yeah, just like in Ayurveda there's a saying, you are not what you eat, but you are what you digest, basically.
That's right. That one comes from Dr. Rama Prasad.
Okay, so basically all of these 7 Ayurvedic tips to eating is more about, I'm just summarizing what you say, to make sure that our digestion works properly. So when we eat good food or even bad food, our digestion can transform it.
That's right, transform it more likely into healthy things and less likely into disease-promoting things.
So before we go to these 7 things, I really like your analogy of this fire burner. About the digestions. Can you explain that? I think that's a really good one.
Our digestion is sort of like when we're trying to cook on an oven or something like that, and we're cooking on a gas burner. And on this gas burner, if we've got too much heat, then it's very easy to burn the food that's in there. We can't cook so on a really high gas flame, and if we don't have enough heat, then it's very difficult to cook the food properly as well. So we really need to have the right amount, and it's the same inside the digestive tract. Excessive amounts of hydrochloric acid or enzymes won't mean better digestion. It's all about getting the right ratios of enzymes and the right ratios of food in relation to those enzymes and digestive juices.
And so hopefully, these Ayurvedic 7 Ayurvedic tips of eating can help to make sure that these digestions have the right amount of things to transform.
Exactly, it encourages that good, healthy digestive state.
Great. So the first one, what is the first tips from Ayurveda to eating?
The first one is in relation to ideal meal times. Now, this one always needs to be prepared with another one. Of course, it's when you feel hungry, and we'll look at that one in a moment, but there's a certain degree of regularity in relation to meal times that can help your body to go, it's time to eat. This is the time where I'm going to make more digestive enzymes, to be prepared to eat at a regular time. And that's more easy for certain doshas than others.
And then, so what's the time? What's the ideal time to eat?
So we'll start with Vata. Vata can change and is irregular in its eating time, so it's the one that can benefit the most by having a fairly regular eating time, and yet it's still going to need to listen to its digestive needs. So we've got breakfast in this 8 to 9 a.m. period, then we've got lunch in a 12 to 1, close to midday when the sun's going over the head, and then we've got dinner in this 5:30 to 6:30 period around sunset. If they tend to be really light sleepers and not sleeping well at all, then sometimes like a nighttime nourishing drink could also be had before bed. Vata is the closest to the even meal times that we'll get, and then the other doshas are sort of variations off of that normal ideal.
Yeah. And this time is not necessarily like a fixed time, isn't it? It's more in relation with the sun location.
That's right, it's more in relation to the sun cycle. So although we're giving particular times of the day here, we're actually more talking about the relationship to the sun rising and other things. So it's hard to give times. These are generalizations.
Yeah, so things change during winter, during summer, and all those things. Yeah. So you mentioned Vata, ideal eating time, but Pitta, what about Pitta?
The Pitta one starts a little bit earlier with the time, so we could now be having breakfast in this 7:30 to 8:30. Their digestive fire is usually a bit more intense, therefore they get hungrier earlier. For me, having quite a strong Pitta in the digestive system, I will usually have like a protein type powder straight after I've exercised, so it's not so much that it's an overload for my stomach. And I'm having my shower and things, so I'm like, I don't have to wait for making breakfast and other things. And then I'll come back and have breakfast. So it's almost like a double breakfast, so that I can get something in this 7:30 to 8:30 period.
Yeah.
And then I'll have my full breakfast. And then lunch, again, might be a little bit earlier because they'll get hungry again quicker in this 11:30 to 12:30 period. Again, because their digestive fire is quite intense and what we call sharp in Ayurveda, tikshna. They may need to have a snack in the afternoon period too. Blood sugar levels naturally drop at this time. And then dinner in this 6 to 7 p.m. period. It could be a little bit later than the Vata, yet that's because they might need a snack in that period in between.
Yeah. This is the Pitta one, is the one that there's a saying, hangry.
Hangry, that's it.
Angry because it's hungry.
And hungry together.
And then it's a good tip that you do is like you always travel with snack mix, like fruit, nuts.
Dried fruits and nuts that I can snack on, because if Pitta gets really hungry, it can aggravate their body and their system quite easily.
Cool. So it's Vata, Pitta, and the Kapha meal time is...
I should also mention with the Vata one that it is okay to have an afternoon snack with the Vata one as well, but it's dependent on hunger from the belly.
Not the eyes.
Not the eyes. We'll talk about sensations of hunger and what that's like.
Cool. So now the Kapha.
The Kapha one. The Kapha doesn't need to be as consistent with the times as the other doshas. They're the one that can be more flexible in the time that they eat and needs to listen to their digestive feelings even more than the other doshas. They could be having their breakfast a little bit later because they don't get hungry as early, 9 to 10. You still, for most people, as a generalization over the year, you want to be having breakfast before 10 for all people. Even if you're not hungry, maybe eat a little bit of something, just to stoke the fire and get it moving. Because it's in that period, sort of 9 to 11, where your body is making its fuel for the digestive enzymes.
Quick question before we continue with the lunch. Now, there's this hype about this intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Like from no dinner or after dinner until like next day, and many actually only eat during lunchtime.
Yeah.
So they basically skip breakfast. What do you think about that?
I think as a long-term dietary plan, it's not balancing. I think it can lead to deficiency of digestive juices and then may slow down the body's ability to digest a wide range of foods over time. As a short-term approach to cleansing, it can be very easy to do, because we're not having to fast for a whole day. It's much easier to fast from the morning up until lunch, so it's mentally an easy fast to do.
And then one more question about breakfast, especially with someone that doesn't necessarily have appetite. What about skipping at all? Like, I'm not hungry. I don't usually feel hungry, so I just skip breakfast. Like my sister like that. So
in the long run, it tends to create digestive imbalances, because the body tends to produce, the body sort of highlights certain times of the day for where it will focus on certain activities and functions. So like during the night time between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. to sometimes 3 a.m. This is the period where the body will give more energy towards the liver to detoxify the blood and move things out. In the early hours of the morning, around 5 a.m., it will give more energy to the colon to move things out.
Yeah.
It's in this period, 9 to 11 a.m., it will give more energy to the spleen pancreas system, and it will tend to produce more of the enzymes. So it needs the building blocks to make those enzymes around that period. So therefore, if we don't have a breakfast that contains some of the proteins and fats and oils and things that the pancreas needs to make the enzymes with, then over time, this is not the next day, this is like over months of doing this, then the pancreas's ability to squirt enzymes and digest foods goes down.
Okay, so it's really important to have breakfast no matter how small it is.
Yeah, if you're not hungry, then just have a much smaller breakfast that's still stimulating to the digestive system. Like a bit of papaya with some lime juice on top, or a grapefruit. These are great, very light foods that stimulate digestive function.
Continue with the Kapha ideal mealtime with the lunch now.
So now we're moving on to their lunch. It could be later again in this 1 to 2 period. It can be suitable for them. They're also the body type that can benefit from just having 2 meals a day. So they don't necessarily need to have it around the lunchtime. But if that's a good routine for them, 9 to 10 a.m. breakfast, lunch 1 to 2, and then almost no dinner. Having a very light, soupy, watery soup or something if they do feel they need to eat a little bit more, or skipping dinner. That'll be a much better routine for them than skipping breakfast, because they're building up their digestive strength by still eating something in that 9 a.m. sort of period, and then using that digestive strength throughout the rest of the body, the enzymes, the body's ability to break down the tissues through the night.
Yeah. So, and Kapha is also the one that building up so easily in just tiny amount of food. So would you say they kind of save money because they don't need to eat much, and then they just
yeah, they're the most efficient with their metabolism.
Yeah.
So off a small amount, it can last them much longer.
Oh, not me.
Well, Pitta and Vata mixed together would be the least efficient with
Yeah.
their metabolism, needing the most amount of food.
Can't save money on food.
No, yeah.
Okay, anything else you want to add on the ideal mealtime?
That's it for the meal times.
That's it. And so the next one then is
The
what?
next one is that you wouldn't eat again until after proper digestion.
Yeah.
So if we eat before the digestive process has gone through, then it overloads the system and we're not able to get straight onto it. So a few hints on that. What are the symptoms of proper digestion? One would be a clear belching, a clear burp. You don't need to burp, but if the burp has like smell in it or like a sour taste, then that's not a healthy burp.
Or a burp that you can still feel, taste the previous food.
Exactly, yeah. Then that's not a healthy burp. Enthusiasm and active, so you're not feeling after the meal. You've gotten to the point where, my energy's back on again. There's a feeling of lightness throughout the being, and a feeling of hunger and thirst, or hunger or thirst.
Yeah.
So, feeling that sensation from the belly.
Questions on that. Many people think that tiredness after meal is normal because, isn't that what you feel after meal? Because when I say normal, it's because many people experience it. But is that really normal in a sense of is that what we're supposed to feel, feeling tired after meal?
There's a few takes on understanding that. There's a thing called avastapak in Ayurveda, and avastapak is like the digestive process that happens once you eat something. And there's an avastapak that's related to the 6 medicinal tastes, and there's one that's related to the doshas. I'm going to explain the dosha one, it's easier to understand. So after you eat something, we first start the kapha avastapak. And during the kapha avastapak, we secrete more of the fluid type digestive juices, hydrochloric acid otherwise. And during this time period, there is more of a tendency to feel some degree of heaviness that's going on. Kapha symptoms may present more just after we eat. And this digestive period may last about an hour, hour and a half, depending on the person, sometimes 2 hours if there's a lot of kapha. It is normal to feel a little bit more heavy, a little bit more grounded, but it shouldn't be to the point where you feel sleepy, mucusy, sedated. Now we're showing kapha vikriti, kapha imbalance, kapha dis-ease tendencies that are there, showing the kapha's gone too high in that avastapak. Then after a period of time, that digestive process will move on to a Pitta stage. And the Pitta stage will last for about an hour to an hour and a half. Sour secretions might happen more. The food's moving into the blood. We definitely shouldn't feel tired into an hour, 2 hours after the meal for anyone. And the third stage is a Vata. That's where the lightness comes back, the enthusiasm. Some of the symptoms we were talking about before are some of the signs that the Vata Avastapak has begun, showing that food has moved. Yeah. Kapha Avastapak, stomach maybe, Pitta, small intestine, Vata, it's now starting to move towards the large intestine, lower parts of the small intestine, and we may be able to eat something again.
Yeah. I just want to say I'm really grateful to meet you and learn about Ayurveda, because before I met you, basically after lunch, I'm just sedated, so tired, and that's kind of going on till almost dinner time, basically. Just like, oh, I can't do things anymore. At that time, I'm still working 9 to 5 as a teacher, kindergarten teacher, so like, no more.
Yeah, so if that's happening, we have to start looking at our foods and see which kapha type qualities, we just went through those in the last class, that might be present that are aggravating this kapha avastapak.
Great. So is there anything you want to add on that?
That's good, after proper digestion.
Cool. And the third one?
The third one is ideal meal portion. So the amount that you eat. And so many classical, traditional medicine systems and doctors have said that overeating is one of the main causes of disease. So Ayurveda has a generalization that's related to your hand size. So I have fairly large hands, even though I'm fairly thin, which means I can eat a larger amount. And they say that your stomach is about 4 handfuls. And 2 parts of that can be solid food, 1 part of that can be liquid, and 1 part should be empty space. So if the ideal, and you're really having a lot of digestive symptoms or challenges, then that liquid should be cooked into the food. So it's like a soupy stew, a khichdi, a porridge, where the liquid's already in it. You're not drinking liquid with the meal. And we need the empty space so that the stomach can turn and churn and mix the foods up. Just like if we're using a blender, we need a bit of empty space in the blender for it to properly work.
So that's why if I eat too much in the past, not now, I feel I want to throw up.
Yeah, that's right, because it's churning and then it's like, well, where does it go? Out the top of the blender.
True.
Yeah.
Other things about that part?
Nope, that's it, ideal meal portion.
That's easy. So this is something I always show to people, comparing our hands, like how different our hand is. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's hugely different. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But I have a big appetite for my eye, even though I can't actually eat it. But anyway. So that's the third one. The fourth one is?
The fourth one is proper drinking. Which we've covered in a lot more detail in the other class that Zia was talking about. But there's a few things in relation to the drinking because it influences the digestive tract. So Ayurveda recommends regular sips over the day rather than drinking a really large amount. When we drink a very large amount, it overburdens the rest of the system. That fluid needs to be dealt with. The ratios of fluid inside the blood and the digestive tract need to be dealt with. So if it's small amounts, then the body can regulate that much easier and the body won't flush out sometimes also some beneficial minerals and things through the urine. We drink in really large amounts, the body goes, oh, I need to get rid of quite a bit of water, and it flushes out more than it can comfortably mix. We might lose some magnesium and other minerals through there. Yes, we need to drink a good amount of water, but doing it in regular sips means the body can regulate. Next one is during the meal, really try not to drink too much water. Small sips are okay, little amounts, especially if the meal was drier. So like we said, the 2 solid handfuls. If I was eating a sandwich or something, and the sandwich is the drier type bread, then drinking a few sips of water in between a few mouthfuls might be suitable to get the right ratio. But once we get to the end of the meal, we definitely shouldn't be drinking anymore. The stomach is now going, oh, that's how much solid food I've got, that's how much protein I've got, that's how much carbohydrate, I'm going to need this much hydrochloric acid. to be able to digest that properly. And then if we throw in a bunch of water on the end of that, then we upset that ratio, and the stomach's trying to go, oh, how do I get enough acidity in here to be able to digest the proteins? So that becomes even more important. The more protein that is present at the meal, the more we need to be aware of not drinking afterwards. Yet, generalization, just don't drink after the meal. 30 minutes or so, and you'll be fine.
And this tip is very practical and really good for economical reason, because when you go out to the restaurant, you don't need to order a drink.
Don't need to order a drink, that's right. Drink between the meals.
Yeah, Kimberly and I, when we go to a restaurant, and then the lady will like, anything else? Any drink you want to order? And we were like, no. Yeah. Oh, that's new.
Yeah, they're always a little bit weirded by that. You're not ordering a drink.
Okay, so next one.
Next one is peaceful mind and calm emotions. When our mind is a little bit scattered and moving in lots of directions, then what's called the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight nervous system, gets activated. And it brings the circulation towards the extremities of the body, out towards the muscles. And when that happens, we end up with low circulation in the organs, meaning low function, low movement, low enzyme production, meaning poor digestion. So calm mind is really good. There's a few ways that we can do to calm and centralize the emotions around the meal times. One is to splash the face and the eyes with water. Yeah. So when we splash the face with water, it tends to calm away emotions. If we put this as an extreme example, go for a swim in the ocean or in a beautiful nature waterhole when you're really emotional, and it's like, oh, it totally takes it away.
Yeah.
It's the same with just a little splash on a minor scale that you can do before meals.
Yeah.
So it also cools the eyes, which tends to bring the heat down into the digestive tract where you can digest more easily. The next one is using your breath to calm the nervous system. So 3 deep belly breaths. When we breathe into the belly, we also calm our nervous system. I would prescribe this as a regular thing for many people with digestive imbalances, especially when their Vata is up and they're trying to do a lot of things while they're eating. 3 deep belly breaths bring the energy down. Decrease talking at the meals. So if we're doing a lot of talking, again, this will stimulate the energy to rise up. It's called Udana Vayu, Udana Vata in Ayurveda. It's this rising upwards energy, and it will distract from the digestive energy that goes on here. And sit, instead of talking with the people, sit and talk with your food.
In silence.
Yeah, no, it could be a little bit of a conversation there. How's it going, Rice? Yeah, I'm really appreciative of you, Rice. Yeah, it's different to talking with someone who's going to talk back.
Yeah.
We could talk in silence, and that could be more powerful, a little bit less. But when you talk with food, you never end up with a conversation going.
Maybe. Who knows?
And that conversation with food, which is one-sided, becomes more like a prayer. And any direction towards something, some specific object that is repetitive, is one of the definitions of meditation, is to repeat on an object for a period of time. It doesn't allow you to think about, the next job, the worry of this. And so I usually just have a little gratitude conversation. Thank you, Rice. I'm so appreciative of the farmer and different things and the vegetables. And I'll talk about the foods and how much I love these foods.
And thank you for the person who cooked it.
Thanks for the person who cooked it. Today it was you. Yeah.
That's right, that was me.
Yeah, that's the tone.
And then anything else for that?
That's it. Peaceful mind suggestions at the food.
Okay, next one.
Next one is chewing. When we chew our food up, this is super important and so overlooked by many people, because people think that chewing is just about breaking the food into smaller pieces. And actually, that's actually a small part of what chewing is about. The most important part of chewing is to coat the food with saliva. It's this coating each piece with saliva that starts the first stage of digestion. We have things inside the saliva that start carbohydrate digestion. We have things that start protein digestion. We have things that protect the rest of the gut lining as well. So a certain amount of saliva needs to be with every mouthful. And what's interesting is that saliva likes to work in an alkaline environment. But the stomach, because of the hydrochloric acid, is an acid environment. So the saliva only has from the mouth to the stomach to do its job. Luckily, it works really quickly. It just needs contact. So it means that you have to chew and swish everything. It doesn't matter if it's a drink, and you're drinking a smoothie or a fruit juice. You need to swish and chew that around your mouth. At the Tao Garden in Thailand, I once saw a saying to drink your food and chew your liquids.
Drink your food in terms of like you need to chew it really good.
To the point where it's pretty much drinkable.
That takes a while.
And even if it's liquid, you need to chew it as well to get that salivary coating on it.
Talking about that, chewing your liquid or swishing it around basically with saliva. I remember you said it one time when we were hiking and then we don't have much water. And then that actually also had an effect to the way you absorb the water, like somehow the body are more efficient to
well, the lining of the mouth is also absorbing things directly into the bloodstream. And if we have small sips of water and we swish it in the mouth, then part of it's moving straight into the bloodstream, especially if the body's a bit drier, and then it's going to move straight into the bloodstream, meaning we can bypass the digestive process, meaning we're more efficient with how much we use. It's something that Native Americans would use when they were moving across the deserts. They would just do little sips and they would swish, keep it in the mouth for like 1 minute to 2 minutes, and then they would swallow it down. And that one piece of water would be much more efficiently used.
Yeah, that's a good tips. When there's some apocalypse in the future.
I just do it now, even without the apocalypse. I'd rather be a more efficient metabolizer all the time, even if I'm a weirdo swishing water.
You are a weirdo swishing water.
That's right, I'm cool with that.
Last one is about the taste.
The tastes, So in Ayurveda there are 6 different medicinal tastes, and each of these 6 medicinal tastes helps the digestive process in some way. And they would say that it's ideal that all 6 tastes are present at every meal. And that certain tastes we're going to need more depending on the dosha, depending on the season, depending on many things. So we're going to keep it simple for now. The sweet taste gives us nourishment and contentment. And when we say sweet, we're not talking about sugary sweet. In Ayurveda, the sweet taste is made up of the water and the earth elements. And it therefore means it's the heavier, nourishing parts of food that we build the body up with. So it's carbohydrates, proteins and fats, all predominantly come under the sweet taste. When we realise that, we realise, most of our food that we eat is sweet. Probably 60% or more of the food is nourishing and building and what we build the body up. The other tastes are all designed to help us digest the sweet. To help us not choke on the proteins, to help us not get diabetes from the carbohydrates, to help the liver not get clogged with the oils. So each of the tastes have a function to help that. So our next one is sour. Sour helps with hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and it digests the sweet taste, so proteins included, in the stomach. Then we have salty. Salty again helps with hydrochloric acid, and it's a transporter. It helps to transport nutrients throughout the body. It's well documented that when salt is present in food, there'll be more food that makes it into the blood, more nourishment that moves into the blood. And we even notice that with our taste buds. If there's not a bit of salt in the meal, then we won't taste the rest of the nutrients as easily. But when it's there, it's transported to the taste buds easier. The third taste is pungent. And the pungent helps more enzymes be secreted, so from the pancreas and other parts of the digestive process, and it helps the circulation of the nutrients throughout the body. It's particularly to do with digestion in the small intestine.
What is pungent?
Pungent is like warming, spicy, ginger, garlic, onion, cardamom. These are all pungent flavours. And our next one is bitter. Bitter is the detoxifying taste. It helps to clear the liver and the gallbladder and pushes things down and out. It can also help a little bit with enzyme secretion too, but it's more in relation to clearing out excess from the body, getting rid of the old sweet that might be stagnant somewhere. And our last taste is astringent. Astringent helps to decrease enzyme secretion so that it's not excessive, because excessive amounts of enzymes also won't be so beneficial for the process. And it strengthens the linings, the walls of the digestive tract. Astringent sucks and pulls things together, and most of the digestive process is heating and expanding and pushing things out in different directions. There's a lot of inflammation, stirring, churning, all of this that goes on, acids that tend to influence the digestive system to grow and get challenged, and the astringent pulls the digestive system back together and strengthens it.
What is astringent, by the way? Many people might not know that.
It's technically not a taste according to Western medicine. It's more of a feeling inside there. An unripe banana is a great example of astringent. When you eat it, it like sucks up all the tissues in the mouth. Many foods that contain tannins, like the tannins in wine, the tannins in black tea, have a little bit of astringent to them as well.
Like salak, snake fruit. It has that, not much, not huge, but
it has it a little bit. Great example for the Indonesians. Yeah, not many people know about what a salak is.
Snake fruit. Big reason to go to Indonesia or to the tropics to try snake fruit. Anything else you would like to add on these 7 Ayurvedic tips on eating?
That's it. That's a wrap with the 7 tips.
Cool.
For those who like to help others heal holistically, or just wishing to have more control in their own self-care, check out the programs on ThaiVedicYoga.com. I brought together some of the world's most experienced health experts, teaching people what I consider to be the 6 most important branches of holistic healing.
Now, hearing without practice is wasteful because hearing leads to forgetting, teaching leads to remembering, and applying leads to mastering. That's why we will encourage you to leave a comment below and share one learning insight from this video. Also, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe so you will be the first to hear our future educational video. And for more resources on health and healing, check out our website holisticnomads.com. There you will find articles, quizzes on Ayurveda, future events and courses, as well as free downloads. Thank you so much for watching. We hope it's been beneficial for you and hope to see you next week. Bye!